Well, hello, everybody. I just wanted to share with you the following in the next 5 minutes, which is a wonderful new study by our colleague Randy Bean. I actually know Randy from grade school. He was in fifth grade when I was in fourth grade. On data and AI leadership exchanges, 125 companies, and they're looking at what the executive benchmark is. They've been doing it for over a decade now in terms of transformation and innovation in our AI future. What I did is I took Randy's analysis, I stuffed it into Perplexity. I said, give me 4 slides on this, gave me 4 slides. Then I went over to our friends at Microsoft Copilot, and I dumped it into Microsoft Copilot and said, give me PowerPoint slides, and then I used their designer to make it fancier in terms of the different layout. So this is very much generated by our friends here. But some of these data, and the reason I wanted to share them, I think are really pretty astounding. And this is from, a bunch of large organizations. You have 98.4% of organizations are increasing their investment in data and artificial intelligence. I personally think the Gartner hype cycle is totally bonks. It's the wrong way to think about a problem. Gartner hype cycle is totally garbage. This is not a hype, and you can see it now as organizations begin to invest more and more. Is it a priority? 9 out of 10 organizations say yes. Is it delivering business value? 1 out of 4 or 5 organizations are implementing AI at scale. That's up from 5% last year. So you've had almost a 5 times increase in the actual implementation of AI. And then culture challenge is very interesting. I think it highly underreported and under discussed in the tech supply base about really the cultural changes, because I think that this represents a whole new way to do management, because the core of management is improvement and knowledge transfer as well as strategy. And this is a fundamentally different way to do it. Then this notion of how do you create responsible AI is relevant. And I think it's responsible from a couple different perspectives. There's the notion of IP leakage and concern and security for sure. But then there's also the fact that we're getting into the inference layer and making decisions and so forth, that is where you need safeguards. And that is a difficult and new area, which is you have this notion of evolving AI leadership. So they're appointing chief data officers. You have some people talking about chief AI officers. And surprisingly to me, 80% are saying that they're going to focus on growth and innovation. That I'm a little skeptical about, because the cost substitution of the idea of substituting capital for labor is massive in these organizations. And Paul and I know a very large systems integrator consulting organization now has about 500,000 people in it, and they are actually planning to spin an internal organization and invest $1 billion to automate the living daylights out of that services organization and to not grow the people count as they grow revenue. So I actually think that there's going to be additional emphasis on cost, but the data are saying growth and innovation. Then in terms of the CDO role, very dynamic and difficult role. Most people are in it for less than 3 years. They are optimistic about the AI future. So I guess if they get fired one place, they get to get hired in another. And that the 2/3 of folks are thinking that generative AI is going to be transformative. Think of that for a minute. This thing's only been around from November 2022. And in terms of the public mind, I mean, I know it's been around, since the Transformer paper back in 2017. All you need is attention. But this notion of how quickly it's come into the really operating budget and the mind of the senior executive is just fantastic. And then if we look at what are the actions that you need to take as an executive, what are the top 5? First of all, this notion of prioritizing investment in AI and data strategies for competitive advantage, whether it's cost reduction, innovation, scaling, capability. This notion of getting people comfortable with and putting policies in place so you can actually have responsible growth. Governance of data for sure. Collaboration, this is going to be vital. If it's just owned by the CIO and the technology function, I think it's going to be very slow. And then this notion of dynamically and continuously assessing. So great new data from our friend Randy Bean. It's available, and I'll put it in the comments over here. The full report's available and fresh, new, just came out January 2nd. So I hope you found that helpful.
That's great, John. And John, thank you also for jumping in. We really continue to push ourselves here on using this and jumping in and taking an article, summarizing it, ask the robots for PowerPoints, is I think somewhere where we're seeing this go more and more and more, where we've got all areas of expression increasingly automated. So
Yeah, I think 2025 is going to be, and when you think about processes right now, is very much, I'm showing my age here, sneaker net, right? You're going from, cut and pasting from here, putting it over here and so forth, being able to actually use agents to do that, excuse me, knitting and integration across slightly different semantic environments, I think is going to be very powerful. I think a simple way to think of it is a lot of these agents are going to be the duct tape of process. And I don't know about you, but when I was in college, duct tape went everywhere. Clothes, stereo, furniture, you name it. I lived on duct tape. So there you go.